Hello there. Today we'll be reading Chapter 6 of A History of Us, Volume D, by Joy Hakim. Excuse me. It is titled MLK's Senior and Junior. Mike King was a Georgia sharecropper's son who was teased when he went to school because he smelled of the barnyard. Muscular, energetic, and ambitious, he headed off to the big city, Atlanta, where he worked on the railroad. In Atlanta, he discovered what he really wanted to do was preach. So he did, on Sundays, in small Baptist country churches. Then he learned of a girl, Alberta Williams, a student at Spelman College, a talented organist, and the daughter of the Reverend A.D. Williams, the leading black preacher in Atlanta. Before they even met, he decided he would marry her. In a segregated South, the church was the center of the black world. It was a place where you took your troubles and your heart and found friends and support in an often unkind world. The minister was apt to the most respected and best educated man in the black community. There was no way a rough country boy could marry the daughter of the Reverend Williams. Mike King decided he would get an education. So, at age 20, he went to a public school and sat at a big desk in a fifth grade classroom. A few years later, he finished with high school, but that wasn't enough. To be accepted in the Williams family, he needed a college degree. So he went to Morehouse College, where the Reverend Williams had studied, took the entrance tests, failed them, and was turned away. But there was no stopping Michael Luther King. He worked hard to get a college degree. He got the girl he wanted, and eventually he got his father-in-law's church. He and Alberta, who was church organist, took their 3 children everywhere and beamed with pride at their accomplishments. His older son, named for him and called ML, was a small, wiry, athletic kid who loved to play ball and had lots of friends. When ML was 5, his father changed their names. Each became Martin Luther King, after the German priest, Martin Luther, who had founded Protestantism. I do not know. Oh, Martin Sr. That's what that stands for. That's what the SR stands for right here. Martin Sr. and Alberta made sure their son had a good education. At age 15, he entered Morehouse College. Martin intended to be a doctor, but he changed his mind. He would become a minister. Now up here, we do a picture. Martin Luther King Jr. appears in the front row of the right. That would be over here. In an early photo with his family. Oops, sorry, wrong way. What's in a name? In the United States, Negro, black, colored, Afro-American, and African American are all words used to describe those who are descended in whole or in part from people of African origin. Words, like other things, have fashions. Negro was the preferred term for many generations. Today, African American or black is the most people's choice. Okay. Martin Luther King Jr. chose Crosser Seminary in Pennsylvania to study theology about religion. That school had an astounding mix of students, white and black, from the North and the South. Some Asian Americans, several American Indians, and some from other lands. For a privileged boy from a protected family, living with all those people was an education in itself. Martin Luther King became a valedictorian, the top student in his class at Crosser. There he discovered that he had a passion for words and ideas and a talent for public speaking. At Morehouse, King had to read Henry David Thoreau's essay, Civil Disobedience. Thoreau believed in the power of nonviolence. He believed in the power of even one honest man to create great change in the world. At Crosser, King learned about India's great leader Mohandas Gandhi. I'm so sorry. I said that wrong. It's actually pronounced Mahatma. Hold up. Mahatma Gandhi. And that Gandhi had been inspired by Thoreau. Gandhi was a shining example of the honest man Thoreau had believed in. Gandhi led millions of people in nonviolent boycotts and marches to protest British rule in India. When British soldiers taunted and beat and jailed Gandhi and his followers, they didn't fight back with fists or guns. They just kept peacefully marching and protesting. Gandhi's reasoned courage and calm dignity turned away the guns and cannons of a mighty empire. Gandhi showed the world the power of goodness and right action. India became free. Martin Luther King was fascinated to discover that Gandhi had been full of rage when he was young and had learned to control his anger. King was often angry as well. But could he teach himself self-control? And could he teach others? Up here we have a photo. This photo has a subtitle, and that is, I believe that would be a caption. Yes, a caption. Indian nationalist and spiritual leader Mahatma Gandhi, center front. He's at the center of the front. I'm not sure, that'd be somewhere in here. Probably him. I'm gonna say it's him. Beneath the crossed poles. Oh, beneath the crossed poles. Yep, that's him then. Okay. Leads villagers and workers on a march. And down here, we have a little description. To boycott something is to refuse to use it or have anything to do with it. To taunt is to jeer, to tease, and goad with words. Very wordy words. Sorry. Martin Luther King Jr.'s new... Sorry. Martin Luther King Jr.'s... I don't know why there's a comma there. There's a comma. Martin Luther King Jr.'s new learnings seemed to expand his ideas on Christianity and Christian love. In his father's world, Christianity was simple and sure. At Crozer, King found a Christianity that was questioning. He still wasn't finished with school. After Crozer, he went to Boston University for more study and reading, for a PhD. That would make him the Reverend Dr. Don't forget the doctor, Martin Luther King Jr. His professors wanted him to become one of them, a teacher and a scholar. Martin wanted to be a preacher. He had an idea that a minister could do things to make the world better. He wanted to fight injustice. He wanted to lead his people, the black people, because he thought they had a message for all people. Segregation and racial hatred were wrong. Injustice and unfairness were wrong. Social cruelties and meanness hurt everyone. The more Martin Luther King Jr. thought about Thoreau and Gandhi and about Christian ideas on loving your enemies, the more he began to believe in the power of peaceful protest. When he thought about America's founding idea that all men are created equal, he wondered if nonviolent action could be used to bring that equality to all people. Could nonviolence overcome the evil of segregation? Of course, he understood it wouldn't be easy. How do you face evil? You could turn away from it. That's often the easiest thing to do. It's probably what most people do. Or you could fight it with weapons or fists. That's harder, actually. And, yeah, you end up with hurt people. But the hardest way of all is to do nothing, to be non-violent, to peacefully protest. This means standing up to evil without weapons. It means taking punches, letting yourself get hurt, letting people attack you verbally or physically, and not fighting back. That takes serious courage. Martin wasn't sure how he would lead his people. He just knew that was what he wanted to do. In the meantime, his father wanted his son as an assistant pastor at his fine big church in Atlanta, Georgia. But Martin Jr. decided he would start his career at a small church in a quiet city. He had no idea that an explosion, the civil rights movement, was about to begin in that quiet city. It was Montgomery, Alabama, and soon everyone in America would know about it. Let's go up. So we have a picture of Martin Luther King Jr. and behind him is a portrait of Gandhi right here in his shining glory. Who King said taught him that there is more power in socially organized masses on the march than there is in guns in the hands of a few desperate men. More people peacefully protesting is more powerful than just a few with weapons. That's what he said. Okay, and that is the end. That is the end of this chapter. Of course, we still have other chapters to read, but those will be narrated by other students. So, thank you for taking the time to listen to this. I do hope it was relaxing. I hope my tone made it interesting. And if it didn't, then at least I tried. So, either way, at least I'm doing my best. So, all I do is I wish you a Whip-a-dap and Chezzy day. Namaste.